Imagine standing in the center of a city built for thousands where not a single soul lives, or walking through a luxury desert resort that was swallowed by sand. Before the first guest checked in today, we are diving into the eerie and awe inspiring world of mega projects that were meant to change the history of mankind, but instead became ghost stories written in concrete and steel, from nuclear power plants turned into theme parks to secret underground subways that lead to nowhere. These are the 12 most amazing abandoned mega projects on Earth. Deep in the mountains of Turkey sits a site so surreal you would think it was a glitch in a video game. Hundreds of identical miniature Disney style castles standing in perfect rows, completely empty. This was meant to be a luxury retreat for the world's elite, costing over $200 million, but when the economy crashed, the developers vanished, leaving behind a literal fairy tale ghost town. It is haunting to see rows of ornate balconies and turrets slowly crumbling while the forest begins to reclaim the valley. What do you do with a multi-billion-dollar nuclear power plant that never produced a single watt of energy? If you are in Germany, you turn it into a theme park. The SNR 300 was completed in the 80s, but after the Chernobyl disaster, public outcry forced the government to abandon the project. Today, the massive cooling tower is decorated with a mural of mountains, and instead of uranium rods, it houses a massive swing ride and a climbing wall. It is the only place on Earth where you can eat cotton candy inside a nuclear reactor shell. Once the most densely populated place on the planet, this concrete fortress in the middle of the ocean was a coal mining powerhouse for Mitsubishi. Thousands of workers lived in tiny apartments stacked on top of each other. But when coal died, the island was abandoned in a matter of weeks. Today, it looks like a battleship made of decaying stone standing against the waves. It was so atmospheric that it served as the inspiration for the villain's lair in the James Bond movie Skyfall. Built at a cost of over $1 billion, dollars. This massive international airport was designed to handle millions of passengers every year. It has one of the longest runways in Europe, capable of landing the massive Airbus A380, yet it operated for only a few years before going bankrupt for a long time. The only things moving on the tarmac were tumbleweeds and the occasional film crew shooting a post-apocalyptic movie. It is a staggering monument to overambition and financial collapse. Deep in the desert of Kazakhstan, inside a massive reinforced building, lie the rotting remains of the Buran space program. These were the Soviet Union's answer to the NASA space shuttle after the USSR collapsed. The program was defunded, leaving two nearly completed shuttles to gather dust and bird droppings inside a crumbling hangar. The scale of these machines is breathtaking, but seeing them covered in rust and peeling paint is a heartbreaking reminder of a lost era of space exploration. While most projects on this list are failures, this one is a miracle of engineering built inside an abandoned 88-meter deep water-filled quarry. This hotel features two floors that are entirely underwater. Guests can watch fish swim past their bedroom windows from the comfort of a five-star suite. It took over a decade to complete and required engineers to invent entirely new ways of pumping water and securing the structure against the cliff face. It is a rare example of turning an industrial scar into a masterpiece. In Homebush Bay, Sydney, lies the remains of a massive steel steamship from World War II. Instead of being scrapped, the ship was left to rot in the bay. Over the decades, nature took over, and a lush mangrove forest began to grow directly out of the rusted hull. It now looks like a floating island of green in the middle of the industrial harbor, proving that no matter how much steel we pile up, nature will always find a way to take it back. Dominating the skyline of Pyongyang is a 105-story pyramid known as the Hotel of Doom. Construction began in 1987 with the goal of it being the tallest hotel in the world, but economic crisis halted work for decades. It stood as a giant concrete shell for years without any windows. Today, the exterior is covered in shimmering glass and LED lights, but the interior remains largely empty and unfinished. a massive 3,000-room hollow shell that towers over the city. In the late 90s, China attempted to build the largest amusement park in Asia. It was meant to be their version of Disneyland, complete with a massive fairy tale castle and medieval ramparts. Construction stopped due to land disputes and corruption, leaving the skeleton of the park standing in the middle of cornfields. For years, local farmers even used the unfinished walkways to grow crops, creating a bizarre contrast between rural agriculture and abandoned fantasy architecture. This mega project was built thousands of years ago and then abandoned for centuries, discovered by a man renovating his basement. In 1963, this massive underground city could house 20,000 people. It goes 18 stories deep and features ventilation shafts, schools' oil presses, and even stables for livestock. It was a hidden fortress used to escape war and persecution, and walking through its narrow tunnels feels like stepping into another dimension entirely. These brightly colored pod-shaped houses were designed to be a futuristic vacation resort for U.S. military officers. They looked like flying saucers landed on the coast of Taiwan. However, a series of mysterious accidents during construction led locals to believe the site was cursed. The project was abandoned before anyone ever moved in for years. The neon pods sat rotting in the salt air, looking like a graveyard for 1970s. Science fiction dreams before they were finally demolished. The ultimate abandoned mega project. Pripyat was a model Soviet city built for the workers of the Chernobyl nuclear plant. It had the best schools, hospitals, and a brand new Ferris wheel that was set to open just days after the disaster happened. When the reactor blew, the entire city was evacuated in hours, leaving everything behind today. It is a time capsule of the 1980s, where trees grow through classroom floors, and the silence is a powerful reminder of the risks of our greatest technological ambitions. If you enjoyed exploring these abandoned mega projects, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more incredible stories of forgotten places, lost cities, and the ambitious projects the world left behind.